How's it going, everyone? My name is Matt Leighton and welcome to Woodmont. In this video, we're going to give you a tour of the Woodmont neighborhood, point out some popular landmarks, some cool areas, talk about real estate, what it's like living in Woodmont, and of course, give you the top 3 things that you need to know about living in Woodmont. Let's get started, how we always do, with the location. Woodmont is located north of Spout Run and Lorcum Lane, south of GW Parkway, east of Windy Run, and there is a portion of the neighborhood that extends west between Nellie Custis and Lorcum Lane, east of Military Road. The first thing we need to understand about Woodmont is how amazing this location is. It's hard to find a single family house this close to DC. You are just one stoplight away from the district. And yeah, you could be looking at Arlingwood or Rivercrest, where you could just hop on Chainbridge Road and be in the district. However, up there, you're a little bit further away from downtown DC compared to Woodmont. And to prove my point, let's check out directions on how far away the Kennedy Center is from where we're at right now. Boom, 7 minutes, 6 minutes without traffic. One of Woodmont's most notable parks is Fort C.F. Smith Park. This park used to be the site of an old Union Civil War fort. The fort was built in 1863 after the Union defeat at the Battle of Second Manassas. The fort was built to help protect the Aqueduct Bridge leading into Georgetown, which has since been replaced by the Key Bridge. It was also built to fortify the Arlington line to help prevent an invasion of the Confederates into the district. Thankfully, the fort did not see any action, but there still are some remnants of the fort that you can see today. Now behind me is the Hendry house. This house was built in the early 1900s and it can be rented out for events like weddings. One final note about the park is in order to provide a better lookout for a Civil War fort, well, they had to cut down all the trees. And it was really hard to imagine Woodmont without trees because when you come and tour the neighborhood, it's gonna feel like a lush forest. There's so much nature and trees and animals. If you live here, you're gonna see foxes, deer, raccoons, bald eagles, and even the occasional turkey. But back in the day, there were no trees here at all. And it's gonna feel like you live in the country with all these trees and nature. However, you will be reminded that you're very close to the city because you will hear airplane noise above from planes flying in and out of National Airport. All right, guys, so I took off the jacket. It's such a nice day out. And right now we're at the YMCA Gymnastics Center and Woodmont Park, 2 popular spots here in Woodmont. The Gymnastics Center is a place for kids and adults to practice gymnastics, while the park right outside is a pretty decent park. It has an open field, a playground, and a basketball court. Casey, I'm open. Tell you what, I make this shot, you subscribe.
2 seconds, 1 second. Oh, he missed it at the horn.
Why not just choose a layup? You know what? Subscribe anyways, hit the thumbs up button. We're moving on. So let's get into the real estate at Woodmont. On average, there are about 10 houses that come on the market each year in the neighborhood. The average sales price is $1.4 million. The average entry price is around $950,000. Now you may be able to find a house in the $800,000 range. However, that house may be on Lorcum Lane, or it could be a candidate for a teardown to be bought all cash by a developer. A lot of homes in the neighborhood were built between 1940 and 1980. We are starting to see some new construction in the neighborhood. The most expensive house in the neighborhood right now is on the market for $2.8 million, and we do see that price range quite a bit. The best houses in the neighborhood are gonna be around $2.3 to $2.5 million. If that sounds like a lot, that's not even close to the most expensive houses that have sold in this neighborhood. One house sold for over $3 million a couple of years ago, and the most expensive house sold for over $4 million, which is incredibly rare for Arlington. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at the top 3 things that you need to know about living in Woodmont. And number 1 is low inventory. We just touched on it, only 10 houses per year come on the market in Woodmont. That's less than 1 per month. The neighborhood is pretty small at about 300 households, and there's only single family houses. There's no townhouses, no apartment complexes, no condos. It's just houses. The neighborhood is quiet, secluded, and when people move to Woodmont, they move here for the long haul. They're living here for 20 years or longer. Now, I don't necessarily have statistics on that figure, but Woodmont is not a transitional neighborhood in a sense of living here for a few years and then moving on to another neighborhood. More so, retirees seek out the neighborhood for its convenience to DC, and also people looking to start families are looking to create their life and their memories in Woodmont and raise their children in these schools here in Arlington. So it attracts all sorts of demographics, from empty nesters to new families and everyone in between. Number 2 is the Cedars. At the end of 24th Street is a house which is known as the Cedars and owned by a national Christian organization called the Fellowship. Now, the Fellowship and the Cedars host prayer breakfasts, they host luncheons, they host dignitaries from foreign countries, and it's a really interesting property, and the property has ruffled some feathers in the past, being such a strong and prominent religious organization. I'll just keep rolling. That's a good song. Let's just leave this part in. In 2019, there's actually a Netflix documentary about the Cedars and about the Fellowship, and it's called The Family, which goes into a little bit more behind the background, who is shaking whose hand, where the money is going. And there have been some really prominent individuals that have stopped by here, like Hillary Clinton, Michael Jackson, and many other names. If you are interested in learning more, definitely recommend the Netflix miniseries, The Family. I think there's like 5 episodes. Definitely check it out. And the third thing to know about Woodmont is nature. Living in Woodmont can feel like you're living in the woods. And right now, we actually are in the woods. We're on Windy Run Trail. We took the trail from Woodmont 15 minutes down, a little bit uphill, a little bit downhill, a little over some creeks. My shoes might be a little bit muddy, but we made it to the Potomac River. How many neighborhoods in Arlington can you say are walking distance to the Potomac River? It is a serene atmosphere. Woodmont is quiet, it's secluded, there's no cut-through traffic, there's seemingly a cul-de-sac around every street, and I'm gonna go on record and say that Woodmont is the most underrated neighborhood in all of Arlington. It certainly doesn't get the appreciation that it definitely should. This is incredible. And I still haven't mentioned that you can also walk to the Lion Village Shopping Center that has the Italian store, the Giant grocery store, the CVS pharmacy, and a few other shops and restaurants. So you're walkable to trails, you're walkable to food, you got single family houses. What else do you need? That is Woodmont in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned anything, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, create a productive day. Take care.